I'm kind of really interested to see that Rise ban. Just because mimer, he didn't perform well against EG, didn't perform that well against Future Makers. I mean, I don't want to say he's a terrible player or anything, but obviously it wasn't a champion he liked to play, as you mentioned before. But to take that away when you know what to expect from that in the top lane, it's a little bit interesting.
Well, we saw it with Meet Your Makers when Kubon was playing it. It's like Rise will become a phenomenal force towards the end of the game. Is the game going to get that long? You hope not, probably, if there's a Rise on the opposition team. But there's always a danger. Twisted Fate being taken away from Ninjas and Pyjamas, actually. Didn't want Bjergsen possibly to have that one. Kassadin removed from Peke. No backdoor in today, thank you very much, Peke. It does leave a number of champions open, though, for sOAZ, Peke, Bjergsen. They've all got signature champions they like to run, and they're all out there. A lot of AD carries as well. Nobody really banning the AD carries anymore. Draven, of course, used to be one of the target bans for Freeze, but Freeze himself saying this week, not going to be playing Draven anymore. Yeah, he wasn't too fond of it there in that game, but then again, he was in a 2v2, and he kind of wanted to be in a 2v1 lane, but the Twisted Fate ban, he's been banner picked in 97.5% of all the games in European LCS so far in the summer split, but only has a 50% win ratio, which is kind of really interesting. But with the Fiddlesticks ban, they want to take that away from Deficio, who actually has been practicing that quite a bit over this past week. So you got to be careful what you spam on Twitter, guys, because people take note. Yeah, and it's actually really not smart. But maybe it was a mind game. Maybe he's like, I'm going to make them think I play Fiddlesticks, so they take it away, because they're in third, fourth place currently. Like, they're 1 or 2 wins away from getting towards that top of the table, and they'll take anything they can get. And then, of course, the Shen ban coming in. They don't want to let YellOwStaR play in the top lane. Well, sOAZ has selected Thresh, we believe, for YellOwStaR. We'll see whether that remains the same or not, whether they do switch anything around. I don't think they will this time around. Looks like Malunoo may well get his Jarvan locked in instantly, so yes, he is, and that is going to be Varus for Freeze. I'm actually a little bit surprised at not seeing Aatrox. We saw Malunoo play him twice last week. We saw Cyanide play him once as well. Obviously, it's a kind of a niche champion, but Jarvan, it's been like, for me, it's been the trademark jungler for NiP, even back in the spring split with Sven. But he didn't have amazing stats on Aatrox. That's possibly why he's slid back into Jarvan. Yeah. Slid, I like that. Yeah, QE'd back into Jarvan. But yeah, so I mean, Jarvan, he always offers a lot. And you pair that in with a Varus, you have the lockdown of the Chain of Corruption, you have the lockdown of his Cataclysm. You can really keep a team, just away from you, or pretty much lock them down long enough to win a fight. But I don't know. I mean, Freeze, we haven't seen him on Varus too much. I want to see how well he's going to do on this. Well, Lee Sin being locked in along with Kennen. So, Cyanide on Lee Sin. We haven't seen that for a while. I hate Lee Sin. Oh, I hate Lee Sin. Yeah, actually, have we seen him? I'm trying to think if we've seen him on Lee Sin. I know we've seen Dexter on Lee Sin recently over on Lemon Dog's camp, but I'm not really sold if that will be in the jungle, though. I don't know. It's not really, to me, the type of champion he would play, but with a Kennen being locked in, yeah, most likely will be there. Well, Bjergsen on your screen right now, waiting to see what he's going to select. Freeze, of course. It's going to be probably leaving the mid lane until the last. Freeze typing something in. What is it? It's Nami by the looks of it to me. No, that's Nami. There we go. You saw it right. Yeah. I thought the old eyes were playing up. No, I think my guys may have spotted that on Reddit. Oh, jeez. Did I leave the stove? Did I leave the oven on? Oh, that was a great picture. That was a great find. Wasn't what I was thinking at the time. But so we have Zach being locked in, and obviously Zach is one of those champions you can run in the jungle, which Malunoo has done before, or in that top lane on a mimer, which isn't necessarily the champion he liked to play, or at least what he's been vocal about. And of course, Deficio has fantastic stats on Nami. Going to be a really strong pick for him as its support role. And as we're seeing on the other side, Fnatic, Vayne's open. And we never see Vayne open anymore just because of how strong she is, how people really enjoy playing her, really start to play her again. But looks like they will lock that in. Well, we've already seen Pete playing an incredible Vayne earlier on today. And actually, we were saying to Crepo at the time, it's like, don't remember actually seeing him play in Vayne for a very long time. I think he played it once in the spring split. And it's a champion that is pretty much 100% picked banned in North America at the moment. Yeah, it's just the ultimate, or not the ultimate, the late game power of Vayne is just ridiculous. If you put her in an easy 2v1 lane, you're going to have that guaranteed farm, you're going to have that guaranteed strength, and as long as your team can protect you, you're going to be doing a lot of damage, which is what Doublelift got really famous for with those Vayne mechanics. Yeah, absolutely, and well, technically, Reckless coming into Fnatic soon, he was made very famous for it, and back and forth action they had at IPL 5. But what are we seeing here between these two teams? Because this is an interesting Fnatic, a very aggressive Fnatic team. It looks like Fnatic, they want to just catch someone. Whether it be kicking someone out of the enemy team back into your own team, catch them with a hook, catch them with a charm, and then just blow them up right away. I think that's exactly what they want to go for. The Kennen kind of doesn't 100% fit, but
due to what NiP is going to do and how they engage upon you with the Zag, with the Zed, with the Jarvan, it's going to help counter them a little bit, at least cancel out their CC. And then, of course, on NiP's side, I mean, they just want to go for some team fights. They want to hope Bjergsen can get that 1v1 off or the split pushing happening, which he was so famous for back in the spring split on his Zed, on Kha'Zix, any kind of assassin champions, and allow him to just pretty much force the other team to react to him to say, hey, you have to come fight me, and if you do, you have to send more than one guy at me.
Well, we are about to get underway. Will Fnatic continue the chase on Lemondogs to try and get hold of that top slot? Alternate, of course, already stretched themselves into second place, so Fnatic trying to give chase, and they don't want to let a 2-game slip get away from there. Going to be playing 3 games this weekend and 5 games in the Super Week. That's where things could really stretch out. But everybody wants to come away with a perfect weekend here in Week 8.
I'm so scared right now. YellOwStaR, I've never seen him that serious before. He was so concentrated, so focused, like he knows what's on the line right now. And when he's playing Thresh, the ability to make plays is just ridiculous. If you land that one hook, you can set your entire team up for, honestly, a very early first blood if they do want to go for any sort of invade right now.
Well, they are starting to buy. What are we picking up? I can see YellOwStaR, he's getting all his items, and we're going to be going into the game. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are going live. This is Game 4 of Week 8 here. Just another week remaining after this one. 12 games, though, this weekend. And this is just the 4th of them. Another 6 to come tomorrow, another 2 after this one, actually. So it's going to be a long night, ladies and gentlemen, here in Cologne. Fnatic, the blue team, Ninjas in Pyjamas as the red team. And as it stands, I don't think we're going to see a great deal of starts. Of course, it could be a late invade coming. I'm just looking across the positionings. It's simply 3 wards being placed out. No harassment, really, for those wards either. We have seen in a couple of games already today. And Bjergsen doing a boogie.
He's doing something there. I don't know what that is. But we do have a lot of wards actually being put down Fnatic side. They have both sides of middle covered right now, which is kind of interesting. But if you look at how the lanes are kind of set up right now, it looks like we might see that 2v1 in the bottom lane over on NiP's side. And right now, Mimer, he's set up towards that top side to... honestly, I don't even know what he will be going up against just yet because Fnatic has yet to make their move.
Well, we can see sOAZ down in this tri-bush. YellOwStar's joining him, and they are going for a bit of a late invade. I'm not sure whether that's just simply a ward placement. Yes, it is. Just simply a ward placement. We do see Cyanide sat waiting around. Nobody really going for anything, so it's going to be a red buff start off for Cyanide. I'm really interested to see how Cyanide's going to do on Lee Sin. It's a champion I don't recall actually seeing him play at all in the LCS. I'm trying to think back to the spring split, whether he used to play.
I don't think Lee Sin was even played in the spring split, if maybe just once.
That's actually a very good point.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's just kind of showing that he's expanded his champion pool, or not even expanding. Like, we know he can play Lee Sin, but to do it on a competitive level in LCS when so much is on the line really shows his confidence in it. And, yeah, I completely agree. That Doran's Blade start, he wants some early game aggression. He wants to make some plays happen. And with all the wards expended in the beginning by NiP, that gives him a good opportunity to make it happen.
Well, as we see, nothing really coming from level 1 fights, so sure enough, it is going to be a 2v2 in the bottom lane. YellOwStaR and Puszu. Puszu on Vayne. We'll see how he stands up to Freeze's Varus, his new champion of choice, effectively, after Draven changes in 3.9. YellOwStaR getting caught in the Aqua Prison straight away. Takes us a bit of free harassment. Cyanide over on the blue buff, and Malunoo on the blue buff is his own. So no invades at all from either jungler going about their route. So are we expecting sOAZ and Cyanide, Malunoo, sorry,
yep,
to just try and farm as quick as possible?
No, we're expecting Malunoo to gank bottom. I mean, we already see on the minimap, but because he started red buff shows that he's going to gank bottom. He wants to shut down Vayne early on, shut down Puszu, give his bottom lane a very easy time, because obviously Vayne, not that strong early on, does have a sort of escape with that tumble, but just his jungle path was just kind of showing you that he wants to go for it. He hasn't been spotted just yet. He's sneaking into this bush. If he can land that combo and then a bubble right after that, that would be first blood.
Once that minion goes down, you expect him to take that a little bit of a step closer. It's going to be all about the Aqua Prison. If it lands, expect him to make his move. That Dragon Strike standard combo slides in there, or the QW as it's easier known as.
It's interesting to see that actually Cyanide, it looks like instead of actually going for a gank, Malunoo's prepared for a counter gank here on the Cyanide, who's already heading towards bottom. He's just been farming up. He hasn't visited top lane, hasn't visited middle just yet. He's trying to get, I believe, his early level 6. It's already double the CS of Malunoo here, and this is a lot of time to be committing right now out of him.
Well, it makes sense because everyone that plays Lee Sin goes ganking at level 2 or 3 normally. Instead, Cyanide is farmed out to level 4 and gone back to base, so he's not going for the early gank, kind of catching Malunoo off guard, I feel.
This is a lot of time to commit, but I mean, luckily for him, yeah, he's holding back his bottom lane in terms of experience a little bit. He's getting caught up in terms of that as well, but none of the other lanes are having a tough time. I mean, you see Bjergsen farmed up race, you see in the top lane that mimer's all alone, all alone there, as sOAZ did go back and buy up early.
Well, he is still lingering around there, like you say. sOAZ went back. He's got
a lot of time.
A sword and shield, so he's a true warrior in that top lane. And he's going to be up against the green blob, so I can't think of any film references there. Malunoo does finally go for it. Oh, the Aqua Prism not going to land it. Instead, he turns it back around. Cyanide comes in, gets the kill, and now they're going to turn it on towards Freeze. Can they catch on towards him? Pushu's going to come in there. What? Cyanide missed that by a mile. That was a really bad cue.
I'm glad you said it, not me, but that was so much time to commit by Malunoo, just to have your double bus taken, just for you to die, give up first blood, and get Cyanide a refresh on his doubles. That was... It was good in theory, but I think he just committed a little bit too much time. It was a good combo knocking up YellOwStaR, but it was all a bait, and the bubble didn't land right after that. So fantastic job by Cyanide to be there at the right time. And Deficio, he's still trying to be aggressive bottom.
Still trying to make the plays, and honestly, once that first blood had already passed by, I think they should have realized we need to step away from this one because Puszu has the bit between his teeth. Fortunately, though, it was Cyanide that picked up the kill and not Puszu. Puszu on Vayne. If they could get him snowballing early, it would be telling times for Ninjas in Pyjamas, but they wisely step back. And at the moment, the mid lane, we haven't really talked a great deal about this one. xPeke has just gone back, the top killer in the LCS, in the European LCS at least, and was being challenged by Creaton earlier on today with his stats, but he went back, got himself a Doran's ring, but he's got double cloth armor as well because he's up against Bjergsen on Zed.
Yeah, he's going for the secret arm guards. He has to get that Zonas against him. He has to have the armor, or Bjergsen, who has 24 flat armor pennies, for me to say, will just shred through him. And honestly, the kill that went down, it did go over to Cyanide instead of Pushu, but I kind of like that. I mean, it would be great to get on either one of your carries, just that fact. But to give it to Lee Sin, who, if he doesn't get anything going early on, he kind of falls off a little bit later, you know? So it's definitely going to help him out, and I don't think they were going to care too much in the end, but I bet Pushu's like, come on, let me have that. I wanted double buffs. I wanted the red.
And of course, another item that always helps out when you do have a Lee Sin is the fact that he goes for that side stone, gives you a bunch more free wards around about. Well, not free, because you've technically paid for it. It's like a down payment.
I wonder, how much gold is it? Like maybe 5 or 6, and you finally do start to make money off of the wards you put down, but also it makes it so he can ward up the enemy jungle. Double buffs haven't respawned just yet for NiP. If he wants to, he can be aggressive, put the wards down, which right now YellOwStaR is already doing at the blue buff for NiP, and he can kind of counter that because of the Q and how it works, the percent damage you do when they're missing health. You can steal things away so quickly.
Let's talk about mimer versus sOAZ in the top lane. We can see sOAZ on your screen right now. Actually pretty close in terms of CS at the moment. sOAZ is obviously going to get a bit of a lead because he's got the wave pushed up against his tower, so he's going to clear that one out. But mimer not doing a bad job here. I remember seeing sOAZ versus, was it Wicked the other week, when there was the exact same matchup of Cannon versus Zac, and it was a definitely much bigger story for sOAZ.
Yeah, I mean, mimer, when he's been so vocal about playing Assassins, he's definitely doing a great job. He's keeping up with sOAZ, and with that early Doran shield, it helps mitigate a lot of harass that he does early on to him. Helps give him that extra regen, on top of the fact that the extra health it gives him makes it so his blob will heal him for a little bit more. And as long as he can keep this pace up, like, he'll be really effective in these team fights. However, if you don't shut sOAZ down, if he gets that early Zonias, if he gets some sort of a lead against you, his team fight presence is just going to be ridiculous.
Tell a lie, it was Gambit, I believe, that he was doing it against. And I recall he switched it up and he went AD Kennen, didn't he? And yeah, solo lane.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he did. So, as it stands though, the bottom lane is fairly close, and that's a danger sign there. The fact that a Vayne is fairly close to Varus this early on in the game. 8 minutes gone, the blue buffs both have respawned, being picked up by their relevant AP mids, or AD mid, I guess you could say, in terms of Bjergsen. Will eventually be picked up by xPeke. Took his time there, let Cyanide tank that one out for a bit longer than maybe was necessary. I haven't seen anyone go too aggressive in this mid lane yet. Both do have their ultimates available, of course. xPeke, if he does land that charm, it will be painful on Bjergsen, but same could be said if the death mark gets thrown onto xPeke. xPeke is going to be hoping he can get that charm out to delay it. As I say that, they thought about going for it there, but actually, Bjergsen getting up behind xPeke here. Does put a bunch of damage down, switches out, the charm misses, that's going to be xPeke dead. Deathmark will finish him off, splat. And that is Peke with a significant death in the mid lane. We were just saying about it, if he misses that charm, it's going to kill him, and sure enough, he did.
That is why I don't play Zed, because I could never make a play like that. That was phenomenal, dodging the charm with his ultimate, then to get in there, get the ignite down, get his Bilgewater Cutlass off on him, and burst him down from pretty much 100% to 0. That is ridiculous, and considering how strong Bjergsen is on Zed, how powerful he is at just split pushing and 1v1ing, it's going to make him a huge threat for Fnatic to have to deal with.
So good start for Bjergsen in that mid lane to get that kill over Peke. But the bottom lane has been Fnatic. They have been in the driving seat so far ever since Cyanide came and countered Malunoo at the start. Malunoo himself has just been on a bit of a farming run since then to maybe get himself back going. You can see he's slightly behind at the moment, but what I am seeing is how far ahead. Actually, tell a lie, they're both at 8. It's just an angle on my screen. I was thinking 11 to 7? What is going on there? But it's 8. It's 8.
That would be something
I've been
ridiculous.
done so many times by this screen. I'm going to adjust my seat. In fact, I'm just going to stand up. I've done it.
He's doing it, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to stand up. So, yeah, right now, I was actually thinking about the bottom lane for Pushu, because he went double Doran's Blade into a Bilgewater Cutlass just now, and it's kind of necessary. I mean, you don't necessarily want to go for the double Doran's Blade if you don't have to, but the fact that if he gets hit with the Chain of Corruption, that would be followed up with the Nami Tidal Wave, with the Aqua Prison, and you would be bursted down from 100% to 0, but now expect he's getting ganked middle.
100% to 0, not quite going to work out this time around. Peke does survive another assault from Bjergsen. Hadn't quite got his full combo landed, and he'd got the Seeker's Arm Guard completed as well for that. Just a little bit more defense there. YellOwStaR manages to hold off an entire creep wave and keep them away from the tower there. Very nicely done. So holds away from 2 players, pulls the entire wave up towards the top so the tower doesn't hit. Pushu comes in, gets himself some nice free farm.
And that's something we don't talk about with YellOwStaR too much, is the fact that he was an AD carry player. He knows like what an AD carry would love to have at this situation or at another situation, and the fact that he was able to do that, hold the minion wave off, just so Pushu wouldn't miss out on farm, miss out on experience, like that was just so well coordinated. And right now, Cyanide, he's heading down towards bottom. YellOwStaR already made NiP be very defensive there, just with the Lantern coming down, since they didn't know where it was, but now Peke's getting ganked middle by Malunoo, but he did force the flash, so now Bjergsen, when he returns, since he had that blue buff, his ultimate's gonna be on a quicker cooldown, he might be able to take him down.
Well, it's another Cataclysm there coming out, so we'll keep our eye on that one. Brutalizer now being picked up by Bjergsen in that mid lane, so he is going to be doing some dangerous levels of damage. He's not going to head down to the bottom. We are seeing Malunoo coming down, puts himself a pink ward. He's going to spot out Fnatic's ward, and we do see YellOwStaR and Pushu coming up to try and defend that one out. And the pink ward battle begins, and Fnatic take first blood.
And it won't end anytime soon. And you know, looking over at Cyanide, he's playing Lee Sin, if we think about it, really differently. If you think to Aranea when he played Lee Sin back in the first couple of weeks and how it surprised everyone, he was very aggressive, trying to make plays happen right away. But Cyanide, he's just been farming up, because look at that difference that he currently has right now. And with Dragon being started up with no one in the vicinity for NiP, that will be the first chunk of the game.
Will be a pretty easy one at that as well. No real contestant coming from NiP, instead sticking in their lane. sOAZ and mimer, actually mimer taking pretty low in that top, and sOAZ does have his ultimate available, so mimer needs to be careful here. Of course, he's got his Let's Bounce as well, but Slicing Maelstrom's going to be doing some damage now, and they've both got their Haunting guys on, so they're both going to be looking at trying to out-damage one another. We'll see who wins out that battle. Peke, without his blue buff on, because he did lose it pretty much shortly after getting it to Bjergsen. Has to be so careful. Just lingering off the side, though. Cyanide waiting to come in and help out in the top lane, though. So as forced the flash, gets away with it.
But something important is that Bjergsen, he actually hit level 11 before xPeke. And because of that, with his Ignite coming up, with his Bilgewater Cutlass, he can 100% to zero him. And with that pink ward coming down, he's trying to spot Cyanide from coming in, trying to maybe allow Malunoo to come in there and help out. But I wouldn't be surprised in the next 30 seconds to a minute, we're going to see xPeke die.
Another one. And here it comes, maybe just right now. Is it going to be the time? Doesn't use his death mark. Kind of chunks him to half hit points. He's done this last time.
It's coming, it's coming.
It's definitely coming, and Peke is well aware of this one. This time Cyanide not close enough to get in and help and safeguard and get that shield on towards him. And you can see Peke, that's why he's desperately clearing them waves and thinking, yep, staying well away from you, Bjergsen, right now.
Yeah, he has to, and that's just the power of Bjergsen getting that early kill on your lane. But right now, Cyanide, he's coming in from the other side. Oh, no, just giving the blue buff over. I thought they were going to come in and go for that really quick gank onto him, but Bjergsen just gonna shove the lane, go pick up his own blue buff, and honestly, I can't say it enough, but he is just so dangerous in lane. If he decides to roam, which is what Bjergsen kind of used to do a lot in the spring split, doesn't do too much in the summer split anymore, and he can really punish a lot of lanes.
And it's interesting, that's what we talked about, the freedom that Extinct had brought into the team for Ninja and Pyjamas. Bjergsen suddenly was a free man, effectively being able to do all the pressure on him. We'll see whether that turns back around, though, with Mimer coming back in. Good Aqua Prism from Deficio, stopping Puszu, getting that 3, I can never remember the silver bolts. Never remember the exact name of the proc on it, but that's silver bolts stacked up. Does a lot of damage.
It definitely does, Demon. And one thing we haven't seen just yet coming out of NiP is their ultimates, which they have available. Neither has Fnatic in that bottom lane when they're already at level 9 at this point. And I'm a little surprised, but we do have Cyanide coming down. Actually, we do have both jungles coming down for both teams. This could be another kill coming in very soon, and if YellOwStaR can land that hook, it's going to be very dangerous. They have the pink ward down, they're going to go in!
YellOwStaR caught out of position. That's going to be the Cataclysm on him, but immediately, quickly, pelts him back, and Malunoo get the Ignite on him. It's not quite going to be enough. Chain of Corruption stops Cyanide where he stands, follows it with a piercing arrow, and they both, or all 3 of them, step away from that one.
And a lot of ultimates being used, but not too many summoners. Yeah, we did see YellOwStaR actually flash Ignite, but that's just about it, as Malunoo was the one to flash away too. But Bjergsen's coming down the top, and we see a fight breaking out.
It's going to get a slicing Maelstrom. It may be enough to finish in. Certainly set off the passive. No, they're both going to walk away from this one. Both Ignites were used very low, though. Bjergsen heading in towards the bottom. Cyanide is there, just on the tower, lingering, and they are going to come around. They're going to try and catch out YellOwStaR, caught in the Aqua Prism. He's going to go down, no doubt about that one. Bjergsen comes in, puts the death mark.
No!
Still hasn't gone out. Good kick from Cyanide. Tries to launch it back in. Bjergsen taking very low. Cyanide with the Ignite. That's going to drop him low. Freeze turns it around. Great piercing arrow on towards Puszu. Flashes for it. Barrier comes in. Barrier bait maybe. No. Lands the hail of arrows. Manages to get the kill. And Freeze walks away like a boss.
Just wow. Such a great play. And seeing Bjergsen commit his ultimate to YellOwStaR, who's already going to die, but then for them to turn it around, pick up another kill, just wow, just great job by Freeze right there, showing his expertise of that Varus, expertise of the range as well. And now Malunoo, who has been trying to roam around, make some ganks happen, get a little bit of experience middle here. And I swear, whenever we see Bjergsen leave middle lane, someone should like cue the Jaws theme, because you know it's coming. He's gonna go in for a kill. It's just a matter of time.
Someone's gonna make a video of that one now. I'm sure of it. He's gonna be running around, shark like Bjergsen. And earlier on, when you mentioned both junglers in the bottom lane, I'm pretty sure you said Bojangles.
You know what? Anything's possible.
I was going to mention it, but then there was a 3v3 fight, so I had to ignore it. But Bojangles definitely came out. I was thinking, what have you been doing earlier on? I don't know. Listening to a bit of music. At the moment, though, this mid lane, Peke, he's the #1 killer in the European LCS, but as it stands right now, he's the #1 defender and having to be very passive against Bjergsen, because Bjergsen, you can see again, he's roaming, he's going where he pleases. He's not Mundo, but he is on Zed, and now they're going to both go into it. Can they 2v1 him? That's the question. He's going to try and turn this one back around on Peke. He takes him very low. Going to try and finish him off. He will pop him. He gets a kill, but nevertheless, Cyanide picks up the shutdown bonus.
And with that kill, he made it so he had a shutdown bonus, so Cyanide was able to pick that up, but I am surprised that xPeke was that aggressive, realizing that Bjergsen could do that much damage. But wow, and that's going to let Bjergsen know that they're definitely warding up against him. They're definitely trying to prevent him from roaming into this bottom and to really interact on there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back to lane with maybe a pink ward, or maybe just take some alternate paths. And Demon, honestly, look at that top lane in terms of CS. It is starting to snowball heavily in favor of sOAZ, and the junglers haven't paid too much attention up there. I think Malunoo only ganked once.
Yeah, this is what I mentioned before, you know, the fact that he was in a similar matchup, and he does get a long way ahead. He really knows how to play Kennen very, very well, which I guess effectively is exactly the same as the Korean scene. He used to be such a popular champion. Honestly, he's one of those farmers that every top laner says he's just horrible to play against, because you can't really stop a Kennen farming at all. And there's just no way around it. What I am interested in, though, is the 280 carries and how very close they are in terms of farm, which surely spells danger for Freeze.
Yeah, actually, yeah, okay, so in terms of farm, yes, it definitely does. Like, the fact that he doesn't have a huge lead over Puszu is definitely harming him quite a bit. But it all comes down to the CC that Fnatic, or sorry, not Fnatic, but NiP has in the fight that Fnatic doesn't have. I mean, yeah, you have the Kennen to stop him, but if Puszu gets locked down, somewhat at all that farm, it's not going to mean too much if he can't escape, because he's not running a cleanse. So maybe an early QSS to just stay alive against the damage of Mimer, or just to get out of the Varus ultimate or Nami. Aqua Prism would really save him. Not to mention Bjergsen, who is already 3-1. He has the potential to burst Puszu down in a 1-on-1 fight.
I'm going to check whether he's doing a Mundo face at the moment, because he really is going where he pleases, and he is finding kills every time he leaves that lane. Cyanide's going to be picking up that red buff. Let's see whether he goes on a mission trying to assassinate that bottom lane. Bottom lane is heavily warded though, so he's going to have to be sneaky if he goes there. Going to be picking golems up en route. Blue buff will be going across towards Peke once again. Let's see if he can keep hold of it this time around, because every time he seems to get it, it becomes a magnet for Bjergsen, who himself is over with Malunoo and the rest of Ninjas in Pyjamas taking the dragon. This will be the second one of the game. The first one, though, for NiP.
But everyone's going to be here at this fight. They got to take it very quickly. They don't want to get engaged upon right after this fight. Looks like they should be able to lock it down, but they're getting flanked right now by xPeke.
Oh, he tried to jump his way in there using the safeguard, but NiP were ready and waiting for that one. Took it down very quickly. And Fnatic have to step away. Didn't quite get the timing right on that one, I feel.
Yeah, a little unfortunate, but I was looking at something, and I was thinking back to what I said earlier about the top lane, who's interacted with it. It's only been Malunoo, and maybe Fnatic's not showing enough respect to mimer right now, who, since they didn't bother ganking him, they just let sOAZ 1v1 him, out-farming him, and when it comes to team fights, mimer could make some huge plays happen. As we think back to his game versus EG, didn't do much in the team or in the early laning phase, fell behind Wicked and Farm, but as the team fight started breaking out, he really started making those plays happen.
The difference is, I mean, while mimer's fairly new to the LCS, I'll come back to that in a moment though, because Bjergsen's going to get aggressed on here. Slicing Maelstrom comes out, and again he tries to turn it round, back around on Peke. This time around, sOAZ locks him up very nicely, and I believe the charm landed in that fight.
So the point you were going to say earlier?
The point I was going to say.
I was actually really curious.
We'll go back to it. Actually, I will talk about it. Mimer versus sOAZ. It's probably a fight that sOAZ has had a lot of times, because mimer's got 3 Challenger League champions in the solo queue. So sOAZ probably has faced him quite a lot of times, so he's probably well aware of how he's going to play. But nevertheless, we have more fights happening. Top, middle, and bottom. It's all kicking off right now. sOAZ, though, he's going to be the one they're trying to get on towards with the Ignite running. Mimer lets him get away.
Yeah. I mean, they knew sOAZ didn't have that ultimate available. They wanted to make a play happen. They wanted to go for that kill, but he was able to escape. Still blinking helper now in the bottom lane. We saw Puszu actually get engaged upon, and he was able to survive as well. So they did at least push him out of lane. They're going to be able to do some damage onto this turret, though. I don't think they can take it just yet. And Cyanide, he's circling around to go for a kill, and right now, xPeke, they're doing what Fnatic typically does. Let him get a lot of farm, let him start to make some plays happen, split push a little bit, and Bjergsen just trying to go head-to-head against him.
And trying to catch him out, but whether they will or not, it's another matter. They can't see. In the top lane now, Bjergsen's going to start eating up that farm. It's going to be a race between 2 mid laners and see who can farm the most, I feel, here.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they probably made like a bet before the game started, but right now...
What I was just about to say, sorry, is they've got a good counter now, because they have 2 Zhonya's hourglasses.
Exactly. They weren't totally in sync right now, Demon. That's exactly what I was going to say. Because if Zhonya's is done, that means Bjergsen's potential to 1v1 him just completely went through the floor.
Yes, effectively an exhaust. I know what you're saying, yeah. Nullified him. Or, what was the other word? Not very uncommon or something like that. That's the one I believe I heard Stress using this morning. Hi, Stress. Sorry about that. But nevertheless, let's get back to NiP versus Fnatic before I get completely distracted. I don't know where I sat down. I'm going to stand back up again.
I'm going to join you this time.
Yeah. It's cozy up here. It's a little bit warm here today in Cologne, so excuse us if I'm going a little doolally.
Well, I mean, you were sick earlier in the week, too.
I've been very sick this week, trust me. It's not been a pleasant experience, but nevertheless, nobody wants to know about that. They want to know about what Fnatic are going to do to stop NiP's progress here on this middle turret. The answer is naffle.
Yeah, nothing at all. And I thought people were actually wondering, what did you leave in the stove if it left it on? That's what I was thinking about. But yeah, so they get a free turret up there. It's currently 2-1 in favor of Fnatic. They have a decent goal lead, but really, this game has been kind of calm. Not a lot of fights been breaking out. There's been a little bit of skirmishes, but no one really getting heavily in favor of either side. No team fights really breaking out just yet. And I'm waiting for that point to come. Because, I mean, if you look at these 2 teams statistically, they're actually very even across the board in terms of who gets first blood, who gets first dragon, actually at the times, I mean, sorry, who gets first baron, turrets, inhibitors. And it's kind of interesting to see that it's kind of playing out into this game where not a lot is really breaking out. No team has a clear advantage just yet.
So what you're saying is that's why we're watching Puszu just farming?
Yes. Yes, I mean, it is very entertaining to see a Vayne farm, though. I will give it that, because the silver bullets are like, how much damage is this one going to do? Yeah, a lot.
A lot. I guess it's the same with the piercing arrow, taking out a wave. But it looks like it's going to be Fnatic still going to continue pushing on towards this. But there's 3 members of Ninjas in Pyjamas. They're going to get on towards YellOwStaR. They do manage to slow him down. Good condemn there onto Malunoo. It will slow him down, but YellOwStaR is effectively a dead man. He gets massacred. It's Bjergsen that picks up yet another kill. 4-2-1 now, Bjergsen. And they are going to move their way up towards the mid lane, it seems. But not a great deal there. I think they're simply going to defend out and stop that push from once again. sOAZ and Bjergsen.
Oh, okay, he escapes the queue. Sorry, I was waiting for that because Puszu was coming down from the side. And right now, they're actually going to engage upon xPeke.
Chain of Corruption lands, Aqua Prism follows, Zhonya's Hourglass is going to come out. Is it going to be enough with that slicing Maelstrom? Oh, they try and Cataclysm on towards him, but he flashed straight out of it. Peke does go down to the Ignite. Will it be enough now? sOAZ getting caught out. 4 members. Hail of Arrows does get the slowdown. He gets knocked up. It's another kill, and mimer takes it this time around. While that was all happening, the bottom turret was taken down as well by Bjergsen, and he's continuing his path of regime. I don't know what his path is, but he's slicing his way through the minions on the bottom. I don't even know anymore.
I don't even know what you're saying right now, but NiP picking up those 2 kills, picking up that turret bottom. They're going to try to keep their aggression on. They have the goal lead for pretty much the first time of the game, even though it's not that much. So with Dragon up in about 30 seconds, they know sOAZ's ultimate's not up. xPeke's ultimate's not up just yet. It might be done in time for this Dragon, but they could probably go for a major team fight here on this Dragon, contest it, maybe take a couple of kills, and really start to snowball even harder.
Well, red buff being given across to Puszu, and that's a 7-3 advantage for NiP. Big advantage in terms of turrets as well, because they've managed to take that 2 bottom inner ones out. 2 bottom inner ones? Outer and
Sound
inner.
like me last week.
I didn't know what's
the
going on
bottom,
these
inner,
days.
outer turret, right?
It's all the numbers. All the numbers are confusing me right now. The main number they need to worry about is the fact that it is a 1k gold advantage for NiP, and they are starting off on the Dragon. The second Dragon of the game for themselves, the third one in the actual match itself, and Freeze again. He landed that great Chain of Corruption earlier on. It is available in just a couple of seconds if they were wanted to go for that fight. And wisely, everybody backs away. Fnatic come in to try and reset the counter. Will they catch out Bjergsen? No, they won't.
And something that I want to point out for NiP is that over the last 2 weeks, they've gotten 2 Dragons total. They are currently...
Hold on a minute. A whole of NiP stopped their back there. They want this fight. And they're going to defend this bottom outer turret. They're not going to give this one up for free to Fnatic. Fnatic were just coming in thinking, oh, we got a nice free fight here.
Oh, so it's ultimate's up.
Oh, Chain of Corruption misses. sOAZ is sat ready and waiting in the wings. I don't think he's quite being as ninja-like as he thought, because we just saw him pushing up to the turret. But now they realize, and they see Peke coming down, catch him with a combo. Now they're going to have to give up this turret.
Yes, they are. They cannot fight against that damage that sOAZ can put down because he has a Zonus. He was interrupted the entire game like we mentioned before, and right now mimer's coming from the side. He's going to try to go for the ultimate.
He's going to launch himself in, and it's going to be Let's bouncing across. We're going to see one Zhonya's used. Peke gets that one down, throws out the charm, not going to quite land in the right target. Slicing Maelstrom does catch NiP off nicely. Bjergsen tries to get in the back line, catches on to Puszu, but gets taken down. That was great control from Fnatic. They're going to get down mimer as well. They pick up his globules, and it was a 3-for-0 fight, including that tower they took down as well. It was a good exchange from Fnatic, considering it was mimer that launched himself in the first place.
And the thing was, his Let's Bounce didn't do anything. Like, he was not allowed to run around. Even with the CC reduction he has on his ultimate, he was just locked down the entire time, was ineffective completely, and Fnatic taking the goalie back in their own hands. They're actually heading towards Baron right now. I'm not sure they can take it, but they might go for it. Actually, yeah, with Vayne coming in, I didn't see Pushu coming in from the backside. They're going to go for this Baron. They're going to force a fight to happen. With 14 seconds on mimer, 10 seconds on Bjergsen, it could be a free Baron.
There's no wards really there as well from Ninjas in Pyjamas. We can see, actually, tell a ping. Is there a ward underneath him? There may well be.
It can't. Physically cannot put a ward under Baron anymore because he knocks it away.
Yes, indeed. They changed that.
But they just have a feeling that's coming in right now. Moon's coming from the side. He might try to go for the steal.
Will he go? He's going in, but he's not going to get it, and he's going to get locked up instead. Throws out the Aqua Prison. Is it going to be enough to save him? No, it's not. He had no flash. He was pretty much doomed in there. It was worth a dive, though, but Fnatic pick up that Baron, and just like that, after a great team fight in the bottom, they have a huge advantage over NiP.
Yes, they do, and that's just really unfortunate for NiP, but that's how quickly a game can snowball. Like, that decision to back versus not backing. Look what it gave him. It gave Fnatic 3 kills, gave him a turret, gave him Baron, and pretty much anything they get right now off this Baron is included in that whole pool. And that is just really unfortunate for NiP right now, but they have the CC to lock down Fnatic. Like, they're not out just yet. They have a lot of damage behind them. It's just all about, can they burst push you down? Can they keep xPeke CC'd a little bit? Maybe gonna pop the Zhonya's so you won't be able to do anything during the fight.
Sorry, I'm just smirking because I wasn't sure whether you actually put Get Right and NiP in there together on purpose or whether you just did that by accident.
I'll take credit for it.
Yeah, you'll take credit for that. You probably still don't know who the hell that is, do you?
CS player.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Bit of knowledge coming out here. Impressive stuff. Bjergsen's clearing out that top wave. He's going to wipe out the waves. He's going to push his way through like a destructive force. That's what he's
There you go. Not a regime. Destructive force.
A regime. Well, maybe he's laying down his regime. I don't know. He's a youngster. Maybe he's got different ideologies from the rest of the world. Who knows? We won't go down that path.
This is a good day. This is a good day.
This is going to be a long, good day. I'm casting, I'm sure. sOAZ in this middle lane. Well, he's doing what he does best, and he's causing destructive paths of
his own. He's still causing destructive paths of his own right now in that middle lane. So we have bottom lane claim for Bjergsen, mid lane claim for sOAZ. Who's going to claim that top lane?
I do not know. It's the bottom lane right now. We're going to see who's going to claim that one. It's going to be Peke. Peke with his orbs of fury
as he wards and walks away. He's like, no demon. I'm not going to do this.
Not today.
I mean, they have the Baron buff. They want to go for fighting this turret. They have the Cannon ultimate available. They have every ultimate available right now to go in. They have a lot of summoners as well. And right now, at NiP, when they're up against a Baron up Fnatic, they cannot really afford to fight unless they get an engage that works out for them.
Fnatic, on the other hand, they're looking to get straight in there. Throwing out that charm. Bjergsen keeps them at bay just for a little while. Not too sure how much longer he's going to be able to do that, though. He's really effectively the main driving force between NiP and keeping Fnatic at bay. You can see the top and bottom wave are pretty much even. They're just going to push themselves in, honestly, neither direction at the moment because neither of them have been pushed. Someone's going to have to go out and deal with them all. The siege with this Baron buff from Fnatic, you give them the advantage ordinarily in this fight because of that Baron buff. Mimer gets caught out with the hook. Not really the target they wanted, though. Do you see there's Silver Bolt stacking up there, and he's down to half health already, which tells me he's not going to be able to launch himself in there and use Let's Bounce because he's just going to get destroyed straight away. His passive will be back up. There is Cell Division, but I don't think he's in any position to go aggressive right now.
Considering though Fnatic has Baron, and NiP still defending this turret, kind of shows the weakness in their composition. They can't siege that well. If they're going to go for a turret, they have to go for a fight on top of it. The hook's coming in. Not going to land, though. And Fnatic haven't really made anything happen off this this Baron just yet. But look at bottom lane. That lane is pushing. Someone's going to have to go clear it. It looks like that man's going to be Bjergsen. He's going to defend his regime in the bot lane.
Yeah, as soon as he steps away, Fnatic are going to see that, and they're going to make their move and go straight for that turret. You can see the wards being placed out there. Charm getting flung again. The ping goes down. Bjergsen is not here. Let's take the inner turret, and just like that, Fnatic work that siege to their advantage, and realizing the fact that Bjergsen's a long way away, they may be able to get themselves a second inner turret in the top lane.
They do have Baron for actually a lot longer right now, so they definitely could go for it right now. But Mimer, who took a lot of damage early on, he didn't actually go back and heal. He's been dependent. Actually, just didn't engage. Forget it.
You're going to see Chain of Corruption landing. Zhonya's Hourglass comes straight out, though. Doesn't catch the wave. Chain of Corruption does spread across the rest of Fnatic, and that keeps NiP holding that inner turret for a little bit longer. So finally, a couple of Zhonyas, a lot of ultimates used. They do manage to hold on to those turrets. Desperately trying to keep them. And actually, they've done a very good job against the Baron of Fnatic, and now Baron has worn off, which is why Fnatic are going to step away.
I was actually really surprised they decided to do that, considering they had sOAZ's ultimate available still. They didn't have the Chain of Corruption or the wave out of Nami to worry about on the other side, but they're just going to take their advantage right now, back away, and buy up. I mean, because they haven't really been back in a while. They have 1,300 gold right now on xPeke. They have 1,200 on Cyanide, and of course another 1,100 on the Puszu right now. They're actually going to try to deny some buffs here, and Bjergsen, he caught it just barely.
Well, Bjergsen heading back down to that bottom lane. Dragon will be picked up by Fnatic 4-3 this time around. No way that NiP are going to contest this one, so I believe that's the second Dragon for Fnatic, maybe the third.
Or a lovely graphics guy, we'll let us know in a second.
We'll get to know. I'm just going to wait for it to pop up. Now he's questioning himself now. He's like, was that the second or the third? I'm not too sure.
If the casters don't know, then how will I know?
How am I meant to know? I don't know. He's confused. But nevertheless, that is going to be the red buff going across to Puszu. So let's check out the items, what these guys have been picking up. We can see that Peke actually put himself up as you would expect, being the #1 killer in Manila. Or it's not really in Manila, it's from... He's not from Madrid. I keep saying he's from Madrid, and he's not. He's from some area of Spain. Narrows it down.
So his items, though, as you're talking about.
Back to his items, nevertheless.
He's going for
he's got the
rich build. He's going for all the needlessly large items because he needs it.
Well, he's definitely an exhibitionist, so he's all about the needlessly large items. You've seen his photos. This is how I LCS. I'm sure everybody at home's seen it as well. And they've also seen him on Cyanide stream and every other place that, in fact, hell, on our stream where he's flashing his chest. And Tenerife, which caught you off guard, I believe.
Well, I mean, never mind. I'm not going to get into that because we have farming going on right now, Demon. That's always exciting to watch.
Being done. Oh my God! Hold on a minute. I thought, what was I thinking? Let's get back to the farming, guys.
Thinking about
40 seconds to Baron. This is intense right now because the wards are going down. Deficio is absolutely decimating them.
He's laying his regime down all over those wards right now, Demon. But that is another turret actually going over for NiP's side. So right now, with that Baron Cup at 30 seconds, Fnatic got it for free last time because of the fight that happened at bottom. We have all ultimates available across the board right now. And this is honestly going to be a huge point for both these teams to fight for, because we saw in that last game just how crazy a dragon or a Baron dance can be. And with the hook initiate out of YellOwStaR, if he does land it, they land a charm right behind that, they're going to blow someone up right away.
You know, what sort of dance would a Baron dance be? Would it be a tango, a waltz? What would you go going on there? Bit of salsa?
He does a twerk.
He twerks?
Yeah, he twerks.
Oh, I was not aware that the Baron could twerk.
Oh, you don't see the rest of his body, though, that's why. You just see his head.
Ah, that's what it is. Under the water, he's twerking away. Malunoo's going to get caught out. He gets melted. He didn't manage to twerk. sOAZ caught him out and stunned him.
And that's what we're talking about with that hook. If you land that hook, follow up with a charm, you're going to kill someone right away. And that was the smiter for NiP. This should be a free ban for Fnatic. But NiP, they're going to try to fight this here. Wow, free!
Slicing Maelstrom, ripping apart Ninjas in Pyjamas there from sOAZ. He gets in amongst the whole of NiP along with xPeke. And that's just like that is how quick the team went down. Puszu managed to get the GA. I didn't see him actually pick up that item, but sure enough, the GA works. He saves himself. Bjergsen got on him, reset that GA, but that doesn't matter because Fnatic will get themselves the Baron, and that may give possibly the game.
Yeah, that is huge for them because we saw earlier, like, they were a little bit hesitant to engage under that second middle turret, but now with another Baron, with ridiculous items that they now have, they should be able to do it a lot easier. They should be able to make that fight happen. However, at least for NiP's sake, they got the GA off of Puszu. That is huge, because now Bjergsen, he still can pretty much 1v1 him if he does get his full combo onto him. He can blow him up, and that is a lot of damage gone for Fnatic. Though, if he does get charmed or CC'd in any form, he's just going to blow up himself. He's working towards his GA, but it's not done yet.
The issue was that sOAZ and xPeke got into the back line and basically killed all of NiP. So while he may take down the AD carry, he's going to lose the rest of his team to go with it. And now that they have Baron, it's going to be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the items were meant for, like that GA. Like, I mean, you're Vayne. You don't need anything past Blade of the Rune King and a Phantom Dancer, but because both your AP carries have a GA, you know you're the target from Zed. And with his GA up, which he previously had, not anymore, obviously, then it kind of defers him away from you. It kind of makes him rethink, should I go for him, or should I just go for someone that's in proximity to me as Zed, and then try to make them Zonia so we can just blow them up right after?
Well, xPeke and sOAZ have got some more swag. They've got their party items on, 2 Rabadon's death caps on their heads, and they're ready to go dancing. And it seems that they are looking like they're going to make their way in the mid lane here, because you see that Cyanide is leading the charge. He's got his minions with him. He's just saying, where's everyone else, guys? Get up here. sOAZ is in his dancing gear. Guys, where are you?
They're hitting the club.
See, look, see, he's ready. sOAZ, if you know sOAZ, he's the little Frenchie. He likes to party. He likes to go clubbing, and it seems that nobody else wants to go with him because they've all gone off to the bottom lane and ignored him. He's like, guys, come here. Where are you? And YellOwStar's like, no.
Oh,
I stayed on the bottom
your French
lane.
accent? Oh my god. Oh, anyway, so Fnatic, they're hitting bottom.
It seems
they're
going
going
for the bottom. They're ignoring sOAZ. They don't want to go partying with him.
And look what NiP has, actually. So Bjergsen, he has an Oracle, not just to clear wards, but for freeze, or not for freeze, for Puszu particularly, because obviously when Vayne stealths, or when ultimates and then tumbles, you stealth up, and he wants to be able to spot him the entire time. xPeke, he stayed on top of wards, NiP, they just have to get this up. If they stay longer, they could get caught.
Well, they didn't. They just backed away.
Nope, they didn't, Jason. You're wrong.
No. It was a good build-up, a good bit of hype, but wasn't going to happen. They decided to step away from that one, and it seems that they may just try and seize just one out. Now they're going to go to mid.
That was interesting. Did you see how much gold they got for the ward? 23 went to Deficio, 8 went to Bjergsen because of the changes in 3.9. If you're giving the vision, you get a credit of the ward kill. Huh.
Delightful.
Yeah. It's a little tidbit in there for you. Thank you. Little did you know.
Today I learned. But it's the mid lane, and now the top, actually. They're going to do it by the numbers, guys. They're going to do it by the numbers, Fnatic. They want to take all of the outer and inner turrets And just like you learn with Ashe in the tutorial, this is what you've got to do. You've got to take out all the turrets one by one, and then work your way in.
Well, I mean, we have to pretty much reiterate why. Because right now, what is on the line, Demon? Like, there's so much of these teams, World Finals right now, with the standings so close. Every team wants to pick up everyone they possibly can.
Oh,
and we do see an engage.
They're going straight in. Chain of Corruption lands on YellOwStaR, but focusing all your attention on YellOwStaR, not really what you want to do, because sOAZ with his slicing Maelstrom, he gets in there, pops the Zhonya's Hourglass just as the Piercing Arrow comes in, and just like that, Peke joins the fight. He comes around. Mimer getting locked up here. He's going to come around the side. Bjergsen and Puszu already are down, but nevertheless, that's going to be Mimer going down as well, and Fnatic going to come out 2 for 1. That's not a bad fight for NiP, considering they're up against a Baron fight, but it's an interesting engagement. They saw Peke was away from the fight, and they went for it, but it seems to have backfired.
Yeah, I mean, Bjergsen, he got into the backside, he 1v1 Puszu, but it obviously is just not enough. Once xPeke gets there, his damage is just through the roof. Look at his items, 3 of the large rod items right now. He's really hard to deal with, and then he's going to burst you and then just zone you to stay alive. And right now, Fnatic even trying to go for a little bit of split push here because they know without Bjergsen up, they're not too worried about the rest of the team.
But for a 2 for 1, they lost the inner turret, which probably they were going to do anyway. The Baron's now off Fnatic, and they've killed all the inhibitor turrets. So, technically, it's a bit of a win situation for NiP there. I mean, they're nearly 10,000 gold behind. They are falling desperately out of this one, but they've still got all the inhibitor turrets. It's not over yet for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually right now, I was doing the stats over the weekend. It's gone up for, actually, when the first inhibitor's taken, 93% of the teams originally when the start of the summer split would win the game. But right now, in the summer split, it's actually gone up. So if you take the first inhibitor, or the teams that take the first inhibitor have won 94.7% of the game. So it's actually gone up quite a bit, which you think, 1 point or 2%, not that much, but in terms of how you win in the end, it's huge.
That's a big, big void. It shows that maybe teams can't swing it back like they used to, but Fnatic at the moment, or simply put, teams don't push it for the base until they know they've got full control, which seems to be the way here for Fnatic. They feel they've got full control. They've taken down their 3rd dragon of the game, and that's put them nearly over 10,000 ahead. They were trying to be sneaky, and then they walked into a wall.
I just realized, so the first Baron, they got 1 turret bottom, or they got 1 turret middle. Second Baron, they got 1 turret top. So we might potentially see another 5 more Barons. Just saying. Just saying.
Just throwing it out there. If it might happen. Fortitude pop being picked up by Cyanide though, so he's thinking, is he tanky enough to try and take on this turret? He has got that Radiant's Omen and the Aegis Legion. Didn't go for the Rabadon's Death Cap yet though. He's had that Aegis for a very long time. Hasn't stepped it into it because really there's not enough magical damage to really warrant it.
That's actually a smart play. Might spend that extra 800 gold, build it into another item, and right now we have Pushu's GA available. We have xPeke picking up a GA, so if he didn't have enough armor already, he's going to be sitting at 206. Wow. On an AP carry, 206, where Bjergsen was trying to go for him to burst him down, that is going to be so hard for Freeze, who, honestly, he didn't do bad in lane, but just in terms of items, in terms of scaling, he's not going to be doing that much damage to xPeke now.
Well, it's a serious problem for NiP, not so much a problem for Fnatic. So Fnatic looking very good for this one. Baron is up in 40 seconds. That almost certainly will be the next focus target as everybody flexes and stretches as they go back to base. And they do all start buying items. A bunch of blasting wands coming out for Fnatic this time around. Maybe they've got a whole new party regime planned out for the Baron this time around. It's a bit of a snazzy number, I feel. A bit of baton twirling is going to be involved.
So I was like, all right, if you want to go clubbing with me, I'll bring the club to us. Yeah.
I like that one. I like that one.
But I'm actually wondering, are we going to see an Abyssal Scepter come out? Because obviously both these AP carriers will benefit from that. Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of magic damage on NiP's side, but the extra penetration you get from it is pretty strong. However, we might just see 2 Void stats because they do have a Runic Bulwark on NiP's side.
So, let's see how the baton twirling works out for Fnatic here. They've got a number lined up for Fnatic, for NiP. NiP may well walk straight into this one. Mimer's going to get caught out. They dive straight on him. He wasn't too happy with that. It wasn't the number he was looking for. He gets his passive pop. Oh, good chain of corruption landing out there. Is it going to be enough, though? You see Fnatic all locked up on the Baron. Pushu's taken very low. Is actually the Baron tanking on towards him. Cyanide's getting caught out in the back there. The Baron's going to turn back on towards him. Cyanide will get taken down surely. Peke takes down Mimer. Look at Cyanide's on nothing. There's NiP looking for the kill here. Can they pop the Guardian Angel of Peke? He's going to get popped. Is he will be enough? No. sOAZ now with his Zhonya's. He gets taken down. Malunoo turn on nothing. Puszu comes in. Puszu can clean up, but no. He gets his Guardian Guardian Angels popped. He did manage to get another kill on Malunoo. The rest of the team coming in to help out. YellOwStaR is going to try and throw anything onto Freeze if he can lock him up. Pushu will be able to lifesteal his way back into this one. No, he steps away, and a very, very tight fight between them. A lot of GAs popped there, but look at Peke. He kept his GA. He didn't quite go down to Bjergsen.
But that was still a fantastic engage for them because they got the GA off of Pushu. If they can get back in time and defend against this Baron, then they'll be in a really good position because then they'll be able to burst Pushu out, they'll be able to do some good damage to xPeke, and actually could turn a fight around, but they have to defend this Baron. They cannot let them get it for free. Bjergsen doesn't have home guard boots. He won't be there to stop it. It looks like NiP, they're just going to give it away.
Yeah, Fnatic are going to get this one. They'd force Bjergsen out of the fight, and they realize that they have enough lifesteal. Pushu just simply draining the life off Baron there. And it will be Fnatic with their third Baron of the game. And that means that they're going to take another turret.
Hopefully more than one. Hopefully more than one.
Potentially more than one.
Because it'll be a big one. It'll be an inhibitor turret going down, and maybe an inhibitor if we're lucky. And that will give them such a huge advantage. And right now, it's just NiP, what can they do? They've been going for engages against a Baron at Fnatic 2 times now, I believe it was. And they didn't come out too strong in each of those, but now they're defending the inhibitor turrets. If they were willing to fight that hard over the outer inner turrets, that makes no sense, the inner turrets, then they're going to go even harder on these inhibitors. And with the GA down, they have the possibility of doing it.
See what it works out for them. sOAZ churns out this bottom wave. Looks like the mid wave and the top wave is pushing itself, actually. Bjergsen's going to try and clear that one out. So we'll see which direction Fnatic choose to go. It's almost certainly going to be one of the inhibitor turrets, just which one they chose. Will it be 2? They generally go for the split push path, Fnatic, which is their path of destruction, but they can't.
Yeah,
like you say.
They don't really have a great lineup for that. I mean, xPeke, he can obviously escape, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. But if they get engaged upon without xPeke there goes a lot of their damage. If sOAZ split pushes, there goes a lot of their control in these fights. So they need everyone there. They have to go for it. Looks like an engage on this turret, and if they can just catch one person with a charm, just one charm, that's all it takes, one hook, then you're going to win that fight under the turret.
Oh, the charm on Deficio, and he just gets melted straight away. Peke actually uses ultimate to get in on that one. Bjergsen ready and waiting to go, but look at that turret. It's already below half health, and they're just putting a couple of shots on towards it. Chain of Corruption lands on towards YellOwStaR. Let's Bounce comes in. Fnatic getting caught out. Pushu does go down very quickly. Can Bjergsen get on towards him? sOAZ hasn't used that Zhonya's Hourglass, and frankly does not need to. Now he does. Slicing Merchant's done the job, though, and just like that, NiP dropping like flies. 3 members already down. The rest of Fnatic have the minions coming in with them. They will take the first inhibitor turret of the game, and the inhibitor will follow.
They could no, they're not going to go for that now. They're going to play it like by the books or by the numbers. I was going to say they could possibly go for
They got to get another Baron yet.
Wait, why would I even think that? Wow, you're completely right,
Crazy thinking.
I know, but I was thinking they could possibly go for it, but no need to. Not when you're in this comfortable position. 14,000 gold up, 46 minutes in, 7 of 4 turrets. You have the middle inhibitor down. You're going to have super minions pushing down that wave. You can just go for bottom and just wait for the rest of your team to respawn.
Oh, yeah, Bjergsen not falling for that trap there. YellOwStaR already throwing out the death sentence and not quite catching it. He had a good look, realized that the blue buff was not safe grounds to walk towards, and Peke will be taking that one away. And the dragon, just to be safe, making sure they get every little bit of gold. That's going to be 15,000 gold. Magic to your ears there, Jason.
What? Yes, it is Magic Demon. Thank you for that. I was like, ooh, money. But anyways, right now, we have the Oracle on Deficio just putting out some wards to try to get that vision in their own side of the jungle. Sorry, I'm like crying right now. Whew. And Pushu's going to pick up his own red buff here. So he's pretty much almost full item built. He's sitting on 9 to go right now, so he's not going to have that final item done just yet.
Sorry, I went there. Nevertheless. Okay, sOAZ backing up top lane. Amazing stuff. Let's get back onto this one, because Fnatic in full control and looking. Oh, Bjergsen getting caught out with the charm. Actually, Peke putting a lot of damage. He's going to go full on aggression. One more shot will do it. He tries to turn it back around, but Bjergsen taken down already. Pushu on Vayne getting caught out once again. He gets locked up. Mimer throwing his tentacles everywhere and does manage to take him down with Let's Bounce. Tries to launch himself. Not going to get caught out mid-flow by YellOwStaR. The hook was not there. But nevertheless, it is a 1-for-1. An 80 carry for a mid laner, but look at sOAZ. He's cleared out that top wave, and the rest of Fnatic now going to come up. Peke, meanwhile, he's going down towards the bottom inhibitor, which is completely exposed right now, and there's going to have to give up another turret.
The thing is, the trade in the end wasn't worth it for NiP. Yeah, you did get the AD carry down, but he wasn't the threat. It wasn't him. It was all about xPeke, all about sOAZ. And Bjergsen, he is the major threat on NiP's side. And with him down, Fnatic can feel confident to split push like this.
And you see, that's the turret down. Malunoo getting hooked in there by YellOwStaR. Not really the target they wanted, but nevertheless, the turret goes down. Inhibitor is next. And Fnatic are working the way in this one. Halo Barrow is trying to slow their path, trying to slow them down a little bit. The charm lands on towards mimer, and he just gets melted. Look how quickly he goes down. Cyanide catches on towards him. Of course, it's that cell division, but Malunoo coming around the side, he just gets hooked up and completely chop-jobbed by YellOwStaR. Actually just holds him straight down. Triple kill picked up by YellOwStaR. Sorry, Peke, can he finish this one off? No. Malunoo, where are you going? It doesn't matter. Your base is going to go. He's going to back off, and Fnatic will be taking victory here against Ninjas in Pyjamas, but not quite yet, because Bjergsen's coming in to try and pad out that KDA. He just managed to get another kill, but he has to slide away from that one. Fnatic will win this one, though. 23-12 overall, 9-4 in terms of turrets. It took them a while, 50 minutes, but sure enough, Fnatic get themselves a solid victory here against NiP. We said at the start how tough the games are against NiP for Fnatic, and again, it proved that way. And just look at the sweaty faces of Fnatic. They have worked very hard for that match.
Yeah, they did, but they played it so well, and it doesn't matter if you win in 50 minutes, 150 minutes, or 5 minutes. Winning is all that really counts at this point with how close these standings are, and Fnatic, they're trying to hold their position. Just like you said in the before the game started, they are the spring champions. We cannot forget about that, and to go into the summer split and not get anywhere near the top 2, or at least not get first place, would be terrible for them. It would not be ideal.
Well, it puts them back on par with Alternate, and of course, 1 game away from Lemon Dogs. This is what they needed to do. They had to keep the wins going, and they had to keep stacking them up. So they have managed to chase. Peke just can't stop exposing himself on camera, it has to be said. Giving Deficio a little bit of flash there. Just like, you want some of this? That's kind of like a French Spanish. I'm not sure where I was going with that one. Peke will be happy with it, though.
I was trying to think of how to combine those 2 words, Spanish and French, but my mind couldn't do it.
Bench?
That's where I was going with it, but I was like, nah.
Fradish?
Fradish.
I don't know.
Where'd the D come from?
I don't know where that's going. Nevertheless, it's the LCS we want to talk about, and it's Fnatic with a victory. 4th game of the day, and a great victory it was. It took them a while. A lot of dancing with the Baron. We're not too sure which they were going with. It was a bit of twerking, bit of tango, bit of salsa, bit of bat and twirling as well involved in there. But Fnatic nevertheless got it done, and they are the dance champions of 2013 here in Europe.
Of the summer split, though. Who knows what happens in 2014. But anyways, yeah. So, I mean, if we look back into that game, what happened just in terms of how it began, where, you know, Bjergsen, he got a very early kill onto xPeke.
Yep.
Didn't matter in the end, because right as the game ended, the CS was 421 for xPeke to 348 for Bjergsen. That is a really huge margin, and when you have the Zhonya's built up for both your AP carries, when you have a GA on 2 of your carries with 181 AP, Bjergsen is just useless.
The Zhonyas were the key things we talked about. The soon as that sOAZ and Peke got their Zhonyas on, it's like, Bjergsen, now you're kind of not sure where he's going to go. Yeah. So he chose to switch towards the AD carry, who then went and got a GA, and then it was a case of, well, now you've really got nowhere to go. So he just got shut down, and effectively he was the main damage dealer. And we've talked about it so many times that once your main damage dealer, the one that's picked up all the kills, is effectively countered, where do you go?
And the thing was, mimer's playing... Zach top lane, which obviously does damage. Like, he does a pretty good amount of damage, but he's not like a heavy damage dealer. He's not like an assassin or a CC heavy champion like we saw sOAZ as Kennen. So he ran into that level of a problem, but Ryze was banned out against him. So I'm not sure if he was going to play Ryze, if he could have necessarily, because that would have given him a little bit more power, a little bit more potential in these fights to lock someone down. But obviously hindsight's 20/20, and NiP with that loss, that makes it too straight for them. They're now 1-2 with mimer in that top lane. And to be honest, with where they are on the standings, with just, you know, losing 2-3 more games in a row, they could slip down into the bottom 2 slots.
Well, that actually puts them on 10 and 11, and I believe they're equal with EG now on 6th place, is it? I think they're tied for 6th place or tied for 5th place. Not sure which one it works out as.
Yeah, and it's just ridiculous, because, you know, we have we have a lot more games to come this weekend.
Yeah, they've had a roller coaster ride this season so far.
Oh yeah, and that actually worries me, is that can they come together in the last 2 weeks of the summer split for them, because this is the time you need it. You want to go to the Worlds. You've been working, well, for them, they've been working on it for 2 seasons now, and to not get there would be really a kick in the gut.
It would be a bit of a kick in the teeth. So what is more to come? Lots more matches, of course, will be happening. We're going to be going over towards the analysis desk in just a moment. Of course, we're going to have Crepo breaking it down with Quickshot and Joe. No.
We're going to do it soon. Soon. We're just trying to keep you guys on the edge of your seat. Just like, are we going? No? Yeah? No? Not
right,
just yet.
Please.
But
now we're going to go over to them guys. No, apparently not. Wow. Just wow, guys. Wow. I mean, I am disappointed right now. I feel, I don't know whether it's Joe, Quickshot, or Crepo that are keeping me on my toes.
maybe it's all three. They're like, no, we'll just keep dealing out there for a little bit longer.
No. You guys at home, I'm sure you're enjoying this as much as we are. But now, ladies and gentlemen, now they are ready. Let's go over to Joe, Quickshot, and Crepo.
Thanks a lot, guys, and sorry for keeping you waiting so long. We had to redress Trevor after we gave him his in-ear. So, Crepo, let's talk about that game, starting, of course, with the very start of it, with the picks and the bans. Pretty generic stuff overall, but talk us through that Fiddlesticks and why you thought it might have, tied into the picks that they went with in the end.
For the people that forgot, actually, it was Fnatic banning out Fiddlesticks as the last and third ban, which basically meant they had a plan with it. Basically, Fresh was still open, and it would either force NiP into a Fresh ban, because both teams it's a contested pick. And it also would be a counter to Vayne. Fiddlesticks is a champion that a lot of supports are playing recently with the resurgence of Vayne, because Vayne is such a short-range carry. The fear works really well against it. It basically allowed Fnatic to first pick Fresh, and then NiP was forced into Nami, which still works, but I think their usual answer would be the Fiddlesticks. So that means Fnatic prepared really well for this match. And it definitely allowed them to pick Vayne later on, which was really useful for them.
Thank you. Talk to me a little bit about the compositions. We noticed that on the side of Fnatic, they had the Cannon, the Ahri, the Vayne. On the other side, they had Jarvan, Zac, as well as the Varus. And there was a couple of things you were highlighting throughout the course of the game about the teams and how they work. So talk us through that.
Yeah, you could basically see a different approach for both teams. You had Fnatic running a standard double AP composition again, combined with the Vayne. They aim for like super late game, because in the early to mid game, NiP's composition basically revolved around hard engage, Jarvan going in with his EQ combo, allowing for knock-up. They can follow that up with Tidal Wave, they can follow that up with Let's Bounce. Then suddenly right after that, the Varus ulti will spread out into the entire fight, and it will completely lock down and annihilate Fnatic's composition. However, at one point, Fnatic's double AP carries both finished Zhonya's, and later in the game, Vayne finished the Guardian Angel, which meant they could survive the all-in burst and turn the fight around. You could see that. Cannon pops his ulti, turns it around, Zhonya when he gets low. Ahri, ulti's in, does damage, Zhonya's ulti's out again. Consistent damage coming out from Fnatic. They were squishy, but we're dealing so much damage that they could the items allowed them to survive the fights, and NiP didn't have an answer anymore in late game.
So while we've actually got you here, I want to ask a little bit of a question about the actual next game that's coming up here on stage, just setting up here behind us. That's of course going to be Meet Your Makers versus Alternate. Now, this is, if we think back to week one, both teams were 4-0 going into their final game at DreamHack. Obviously, Alternate won that. Right now, Meet Your Makers are down at the bottom. I mean, what's wrong with Meet Your Makers right now, in your opinion? Is it the fact of, at the start, they were the new boys, so to speak, coming in and people have got their number somewhat? Or is something more deeply maybe wrong with their whole setup?
You could definitely say that MYM are somewhat predictable in their teleport play, but even though a lot of props has to go to them, when they first came into the LCS, they were super prepared. They came from the amateur scene. They didn't drop the ball for a second. Like, they were really hungry. They wanted to win. And a lot of the other teams perhaps weren't just ready for such a prepared team. Same with Alternate. They played the relegation promotion tournament. They had a really close victory there with the 3,000 ELO Shockwave, if everyone remembers. And they were ready. They were hungry, and they started out really, really well. I just think over time, teams felt or experienced how to deal with Jawa's teleports. You can even see in the pick and ban phase, like, people are picking Twisted Fate just to counter the teleports, so maybe neutralize them. It's been working out. They've got unlucky a few times as well. The communication wasn't on point the last few games. Alternate as well have been doing really well, even though they've been rotating players due to like circumstances. Cough, tweet, and cough. But yeah, they've been really consistent, even though they've been swapping out players, and it just shows like the versatility they can bring.
Well, thanks a lot, Crepo and Quickshot, for that. We'll be back a little bit later on, but for now we're going to go over to Shox, who's got Puszu for an interview.
Thanks very much, Joe. Puszu, congratulations on that victory. First time here on the interview couch. Welcome. Let me start by asking you about how did you feel going into this game? Because historically, Fnatic has always had pretty tough games against NiP.
Well, the early game, we going into the game, we just picked our best picks. When we saw that they have Jarvan, it was clear to us that we will pick Vayne because Jarvan can tumble out of Vayne's. Vayne can tumble out of Jarvan's ultimate, and picking Ahri was actually the momentum of, I think a few hours ago, we decided that Peke still plays Ahri, let's go with that, and Lee Sin was just YOLO, Cyanide said YOLO, and let's go for the pick, and that's our combo, and we just tried to win early. It went a little bit differently, but it was fine.
Yeah, because that Peke pick for Ahri against the Zed in the mid lane wasn't ideal. So what did you do to come back from that one?
Well, when we saw that we got the first blood, we got the first Drake, we thought that we will just go late game because I could freeze the lane with Vayne bottom, just go for the late game. When we saw Peke dying and being behind a little, I think YellOwStaR just called that, let's go for late game, just do it. And Peke got back into the game when Zed ganked bottom with the levels. And from then on, we just tried to siege everything.
Yeah, you got a couple of Barons there, but still had some trouble, I'd say, closing it out. Was that the fear of maybe getting caught in that Cataclysm or maybe the Zag jumping in?
Yeah, my team was always telling me to attack the tower, but none of the fights I had flash, so I was really scared. If they jump me, I will die no matter what. So I got GA first, but even that didn't help me because I lost it pretty early after the Baron. And it was really hard to siege the towers, so sometimes if they used the spell or we caught somebody, we just attacked the tower and tried to win the game like that.
And so you did. Now that I have you on the interview couch, I'm going to ask you, how have you been doing in Fnatic, of course? Those weeks with the team, how do you feel you've evolved as a player, maybe?
I've been pretty good with the team. First games, even though we won, I played pretty, like I made a lot of mistakes and I still do. But from now on, I will try to pick my best champions, just pick the best combos and try to farm and see if I can win games by that.
Finally, tomorrow, Alternate and EG are up for you guys. What's the general feeling going into those matchups?
I think what we're going to do tomorrow is we're just going to pick our best picks and maybe ban a few of theirs, but we will just go for strong early game and try to win with that.
No risks at this point in the season. All right, thank you very much. Now time for a breather, but stay tuned for our next game. Alternate need a win to climb back up the ladder, but NYM